Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the PUDcast with Jason and Mike. I'm Jason.
And I'm Mike.
And we're coming to you live from the Pud Cave located here in Game Swap in beautiful downtown Lincolnton in the great state of North Carolina. Mike, brother, what is going on?
How's it going, man?
Brother, it's been a hell of a week, man. It's had not going into a lot of details. I had a slight little health issue I had to deal with, man. I'm getting back on my feet. I'm doing good. I'm feeling good. I'm getting everything back into my usual routine, but can't lie, Mike. It's been a hell of a week, brother.
I can understand that, man. I can understand that.
So, brother, how's about you, man? How's your week been?
It's been a good week. Nothing, out of the way. As far as anything going on, I know this coming Friday.
Oh, yes, sir.
Coming up, we'll have the First in Fright paranormal guys.
Yes, sir.
Doing the Facebook Live viewing party here at GameSwap. This Friday night at 9 p.m. They'll be doing the investigation at the courthouse across the street.
In real time.
In real time.
That is so cool to me, Mike. I know we discussed it a little bit last week, but just to kind of go back into it, just so everybody knows exactly what we got going on here, man. We have a live paranormal investigation going on in our courthouse here in Lincolnton. Now, Mike, I don't know about you, but have you ever heard the rumors of that place being haunted? Because I've heard that.
I always have.
All my life,
man.
Yeah. Ever since I was a kid, I always heard, do not go into the courthouse after dark. Do not, there's a bottom.
That's just a general rule.
Unless you're not in court, unless you're Dan Fielding. You should never go in the courthouse after dark. But as this is going to be going on, Mike,
you might run into Bull Shannon.
Which is so funny because we've actually discussed doing a night court episode, and that is going to happen. But Mike, as this is going on, man, as they're basically hunting ghosts right across the street, we can be here safe in GameSwap.
Absolutely.
Watching this and happen in real time. Once again, I do want to reiterate, we'll be safe.
Oh, yeah.
I guess. Now, is anybody going to be burning any sage, or are we going to have any people coming in, put any good juju out there, man? Make sure these evil spirits don't.
Who knows? Who knows what's over? I mean, I don't know. I've never heard anything about it, like a negative.
Well, that's true.
Spirit over there. Just kind of, stuff that goes on, and
a little strange.
Here you see something, you hear something. It's really. You never know. It's just unexplained.
And the way I look at it, Mike, the best place to be is going to be at GameSwap, man, in case something does happen. Because this is going to be the hub. This is where the event's going to be across the street.
Yes.
But we're all going to be gathered here to watch this thing happen.
Yeah.
So who knows what's going to happen, people. Don't miss out, in other words.
It is, like you said, it is a private investigation. Nobody will be allowed at the courthouse except for them.
Sure.
And,
we ought to reiterate that. Please, ladies and gentlemen, do not show up at the courthouse with your phaser or whatever it was the Ghostbusters had.
Phaser.
Was it? Well, that's Star Trek.
That's Star Trek. Coming from you.
Well, that's the first thing I can think of. And I wasn't going to say blaster. That's Star Wars. But photon packs. That's what I'm thinking of. Excuse me, everybody. If Chris Eisenberg is listening. He's going to spit green mist in my face for getting that wrong, but
or you're going to get slimed.
Or get slimed.
Slimed.
And that could, ladies and gentlemen, that could happen Friday. So.
Oh my God.
It could happen now. Now let's be completely honest. A sliming is absolutely possible this Friday night. When you're dealing with the paranormal, sliming's always a possibility. Just saying, people. Just saying. If you come, bring a nice change of clothes just in case.
It's not a Gallagher show.
Well, I don't know which one would be better, actually. Probably paranormal.
Yeah,
without a doubt, yeah.
It's hard to sit through. It's hard to sit through about an hour and a half just to wait.
To see a watermelon
get smashed.
Now for the main event.
Sledgehammer. Yeah.
The main event, that was a little underwhelming. But what's the opposite of underwhelming, Mike? And that's overwhelming.
Yes.
Speaking of overwhelming, man, we have an overwhelming subject today on the PUDcast, brother. Because we're dealing not just with, I guess, a particular subject like a wrestler or an incident. We're talking about an entire year.
Yes.
And this is going to be our first in a series of the Crockett Years.
Yeah.
Where we're basically going to look at our hometown promotion growing up, Jim Crockett Promotions.
Yes.
which some will argue was the greatest promotion, including myself.
Yes.
Well, so it was the greatest promotion of all time. And Mikey, we're starting in the year 1984.
Four.
Now, this year is special to me because it's the name of a Van Halen album.
Right. Yeah.
I love that album. Got
1984 on itself is a monumental year.
It truly is, man, and that's in every form of entertainment, just in society in general, man.
In the world, I mean, politics.
Yes, sir.
World events, everything.
Everything, man.
You know, you had the 1984 Olympics.
Yes,
that
sir.
was huge.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We were still dealing with the Cold War at this time.
Right.
Man, that was going full blast. But Mike, I think in my opinion, and especially given what we do here on the podcast, to me, 1984 is a great year because, in my opinion, it was truly the transitional year of professional wrestling, going from a certain type of entertainment,
Right.
changing over into a more, I guess, mainstream type of entertainment.
Absolutely.
More so than 83. To me, really, I think it started with Starrcade 83.
Yes.
At the end of 83.
That, to me, is the jump-off point.
Yes, sir. That's when everything started to change. Not just for Crockett, but of course with, Hulk Hogan, WWF.
Everybody.
All the federations and all the territories in 1984 started transitioning.
Yes.
And that's why this...
Going from the regional, just, that regional small town organizations to wanting to push more towards a national exposure.
Yes, sir.
Especially with Vince.
And
Vince was very heavy and very strong, very successful with that.
And it worked, man. He won. And Mike, one thing that we should bring up is cable television.
Yes.
Because cable was the main driving force of this, obviously.
At that time, cable was becoming the biggest thing.
And that was the thing, Mike. You make a good point because I think, especially for a lot of people younger than us, they just take it for granted.
Right. Yeah.
When we were coming up, I know, Mike. We were both from the country.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't really get cable in our areas.
You couldn't get it.
No, you could not get cable. We have 4 or 5 stations,
right, and
maybe 3 of those came in clear. Thank God, channel WBTV Channel 3 was one of them. That had wrestling on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
Channel 18.
Channel 18, yes, sir. That was that was like my favorite station back in the day. Channel 9
would show
worldwide
on
Sundays.
And Channel 3 would usually do Mid-Atlantic Wrestling.
Yes, sir.
And later on, NWA Pro Wrestling.
Pro Wrestling on Saturdays.
Right.
That'd be Saturday afternoons,
Right.
But, man, when cable started getting out there, and the Superstation, which had Georgia Championship Wrestling.
Yes.
And, obviously, man, we can go back and we can talk a little bit more about the importance of cable in general.
Mm-hmm.
But just to kind of give, a little bit of background where we're going to start today, because at this point, cable is starting to take off.
Right.
Still in its infancy, though.
Yes.
Still very new, man.
Yeah.
Still mind-blowing to a lot of people,
right.
So you
kind of had to be in a suburb or city,
yes, sir,
at that time
to get cable.
Unless you had satellite.
And I was just about to say, I was fortunate.
Right.
My family was fortunate that we had one of the big satellite dishes.
These things were
huge, man. They look like something. They literally look like NASA.
Yeah.
I mean, and they would turn. They did not have a set position.
No.
You would have to change the position of the satellite. One of the coolest things about having a satellite as a kid, Mike, was being able to watch all the pro wrestling from everywhere, man. We got the Texas wrestling because we had a Texas channel out of Dallas-Fort Worth, so we got to catch world class. ESPN obviously had AWA, and, we got to catch just all these little independent, USWA was one, you'd catch UWF some here and there. Right. So, man, it was really cool for a wrestling fan. But we were saturated on that with WWE. Oh. And
oh my God, yeah.
And then eventually Crockett, when Crockett got onto the TBS.
Right. I know with us, we wouldn't get a satellite till later. And that's around the time that pay-per-views had started.
Oh, yes, sir.
And, but we had, like I said, local 18, Channel 3, 14, out of Hickory.
Yes, sir. They
showed a lot. You had the Crockett stuff.
Yes, sir.
You had World Class. They would show Florida stuff.
Yes. UWF, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
I
sometimes.
believe, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes later on. Yeah, that's
They
right.
did.
Yeah, they did later on.
And that's weird, man, because sometimes these would be sporadic shows.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, you would only
Yeah.
catch it like once or twice here or there.
You never knew what time.
Yeah.
It was never consistent.
No, it was like you just kind of caught it. You were
Yeah.
lucky to catch it sometimes. In fact, you know, having the old over-the-air antennas, I remember sometimes on Saturdays we would catch a station somewhere out of South Carolina. I can't remember, but me and my little cousin would sometimes. Man, brother, it was once every blue moon. The stars would be aligned. Everything would just line up correctly, and we could get barely enough signal to catch UWF.
Right.
They would show a UWF program, and man, it was like when you could get it, and we'd have to hold on to the antenna sometimes and use our body.
Yeah, you'd have to
as an enhancer.
Oh,
yes, man, we'd have so much aluminum foil on this damn thing.
Yeah.
And but man, it was worth it.
Oh, totally.
To be able to catch
Totally.
a little bit of this pro wrestling coming in that we're not used to seeing.
Yeah.
You know. So, Mike, let's jump into 1984.
Okay.
Once again, I'm coming into this thing fairly blind, Mikey, because, you know, I've said in the past, 85 was around about the time that I started watching wrestling.
Right.
So, when I was growing up, once again, kind of going into back in our day,
Right.
if you wanted to research wrestling, let's say you're our age, you know, you're watching 1985 pro wrestling, you're like, well, I want to know about 1983, 1984 on back. We didn't have a lot of options.
No.
The only way we could really do any research or see any historic matches was to rent them on VHS.
VHS or the After magazines.
Or the magazines. You're
Yeah.
absolutely right. But if you wanted to sit down and watch matches, you had, and I'm talking Jim Crockett here. I'm not necessarily talking WWF because they had the Coliseum videos.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, but once again, Vince just ahead of the curve on the marketing and the packaging.
Yep.
But, you know, in other words, if I wanted to go back and watch something from 1984, I had Starrcade.
Yeah.
And that was basically all I had.
Yeah.
So I'm coming into this thing a little blinded to it, man, and because I know you're more of an historian and you've been watching it longer than I have. So I'm really excited because I feel like I'm going to learn some stuff today, some stuff I didn't know. So, Mike, we're coming out of, you know, Starrcade 83. We're coming into 84. Give us a little background of you know, how everything's looking in Crockett in the beginning of 84. Who's our champions? Who's our feuds?
You're coming off Starrcade hot. You know, that was their big show, the biggest show to that point that they had ever done, with Flair and Harley for the title. Coming in really hot after that, but there's this. And like I said, it's a year of transition.
Yes.
A lot of people are going out. A lot of new guys are coming in. Probably one of the biggest things is Dusty taking the booking.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true, man. That is probably the thing.
Yeah.
And once again, going into our transitional period.
Right.
You know, Dusty was ahead of that, man.
Exactly.
You know, maybe not as much as Vince, but brother, they were neck and neck. In my opinion, they were neck and neck. Definitely. This will piss some people off, Mike, what I'm about to say. But, man, when you compare him to, like, George Scott, Ole Anderson, these old school bookers.
Oh, yeah.
Brother, he was so ahead of the curve.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
for sure.
It trips me out when I'll see people's like, well, I don't think Crockett would have went out if George Scott would have stayed booker. Man, I'm like, dude, they would have been bought out years, man. They would have been bought out before the AWA.
Oh,
yeah, I mean, they would have went out of business.
Yeah.
God, man, there would have never been a WCW.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, come on. But anyway, that we
No,
digress.
yeah. I mean, you're absolutely right. You know, that's an opinion.
It is an opinion.
It's an opinion, but I don't think if you had not gotten Dusty in there, it probably more than likely, and they had great talent in there too, but without that guidance, that
vision,
brother, for a bigger picture.
That's right. That's right.
Thinking on a bigger scale, it would just kind of fizzled out like, you know, so many others.
Yeah, that's exactly right, man. I mean, look at the AWA. Look at your world class. You know, these old school bookers with this old school mentality.
Right.
Where do they go?
Right.
You know, I mean, most of them ended up working for Vince. Yeah. But once again, we digress. You know, we digress.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, Dusty's booking the biggest change.
Yeah. I mean, he's taking it over, and Dusty is Dusty. I mean, Dusty is, what's a good word for Dusty?
Genius.
Genius
visionary.
comes. Dusty has an ego. Dusty knows who Dusty is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to have an ego to even be in wrestling, man. You have
Very
to.
confident.
You have to.
Sometimes conceited.
Maybe a little.
A little bit.
A little bit. Or was he convinced? You know.
There you go. But he lets everyone know right away that it's his way or the highway.
Amen, brother. And you got to have that.
Yeah.
You have to.
Unfortunately, that doesn't set well with a few.
Right.
So you start losing guys to
Right.
Vince.
Right.
Piper is the first.
Exactly. One of the biggest ones.
That one's a big blow.
That one hurt.
That one's a big blow. And Piper, of course, would go on to be a mega star.
Sure. Iconic.
Icon.
Iconic, man. One of the few.
For Vince in the WWF at that time. Also, right around that time, Valentine
Yes, sir.
gets a call up to Vince. He goes up. Big star.
Another huge blow, man.
Now, another big blow because Valentine was such a staple in that Mid-Atlantic area.
Yes, sir.
That hurt. But Dusty has some guys coming in from Florida who are going to make a huge impact for that year. One of them, right off the bat, is Dick Slater.
Right. Yes, sir. And I know you are a huge fan of this
Huge
man.
Dick Slater fan. And Slater would be at that first half of the 84 was going to be, and was at that time, their biggest heel.
Right.
That was the big heel.
And Mike, not to interrupt you, but I've actually have gone back this week and watched a few old tapes, and I've seen a lot of Dick Slater. I've probably watched more Dick Slater this week than I have maybe my whole life. And man, you're not over exaggerating this man. I mean, dude, he was over.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah. Absolutely.
There were a couple periods where I'm listening. I have it on in the background. I'm doing some other things, and it's his promo, but I could have swore it was Jake Roberts a few times because to me, Jake Roberts was one of the best promos ever, best psychology. Dude, Dick Slater was nailing it, man.
Oh, yeah.
Nailing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was over.
And one of Slater's biggest heroes at that time, and even before, was Terry Funk.
Right.
He drew a lot of inspiration from Terry Funk and a lot of stuff that he did, and you could tell in ring.
Right.
You can even tell talking. Definitely he was influenced by Terry Funk.
Definitely had some of the same little mannerisms. Definitely some similarities. Yeah.
But
Not biting though.
Unpredictable. He was definitely unpredictable.
And you're talking about both in the ring and outside.
Yeah, you never knew which way he was going to go.
Right.
But he got you there.
Exactly.
And another guy that was with him, that were kind of forming this group, was Cowboy Bob Orton.
That's right. Correct.
Which it wasn't long after that Bob Orton got called up to Vince.
Right.
Got another talent.
Yeah.
Picked another one off from the Mid-Atlantic area. But a manager that Dusty brought up from Florida is one of my all-time favorite managers. There's this, I would say, in my top 3 managers of all time, it's Gary Hart.
Gary Hart. Yeah.
Gary Hart.
Yep.
I love Gary Hart.
Right.
I just love listening to Gary Hart. I could listen to Gary Hart for hours, just talk.
And
just rap.
And he had that psychology.
Yes.
He got it.
Yes.
He definitely got it.
Yeah. It was a weird combination because you had this heel faction that started out in '84 with Slater, Orton, Kernodle.
Oh, Don Kernodle's the one.
Don
Yeah.
Kernodle.
Yes. Yeah. Right.
And Orton and Kernodle would go on to win the tag titles that were vacated.
Right.
From Jay Youngblood and Ricky
Steamboat. That's correct.
Steamboat.
Right.
Steamboat, who took a retirement to start his gym in Charlotte.
That's right. And Kernodle, I think, is highly, highly underrated as far as not only just his work, man, but his promos.
Yeah.
His promos were
Yeah.
great, man.
Yeah.
Because he was a little funny, even as a heel.
Oh, yeah.
He would cut little jokes, even as a heel, but he was so cocky. Very underrated. Man.
Yeah,
very,
he
very,
was.
very underrated.
His stuff with Sergeant Slaughter
Oh, dude.
Some of the best.
Epic.
In 83. Then going into 84 with him, Coronado. Then, like I said, Orton would get called up. Then it was Don and Ivan Koloff.
Ivan, right.
Pride of the Carolinas.
Turn to the Russians, man. Talk about just kicking you.
Oh, that was another guy.
You know, just hitting you in the heart.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There was another guy in that group, Ivan Koloff, that they had brought in. You know, with Gary Hart managing all of them. So it's a really interesting thing. It did not last long. It just kind of dissipated.
Right.
And Hart would bring in guys like the Kabuki.
Kabuki, I remember.
Of course. Ernie Ladd.
Right.
Absolutely loved Ernie Ladd.
Another...
Oh my God! Anything Ernie Ladd said was just
great,
gold.
Man. Yeah, another underrated talent, man.
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah, Ernie Ladd doesn't get nowhere near the recognition he deserves.
No.
Man. A true giant of professional wrestling.
Yes.
I mean, for real.
And I could sit and you can listen. Oh my God! There's another guy that was just so entertaining on the mic. You just listen to him and just like, oh my God! You know, hear him to talk about. You know, Rufus R. Jones and Junkyard Dog. Oh, my God. It's just so good.
Yeah, and, you know, speaking of Junkyard Dog, Mike, I wasn't aware that JYD was actually in Crockett.
Yes.
Well, very briefly. Very briefly in 84, man. But he sure enough was.
Coming to help out his buddy, Jimmy Valiant.
Jimmy Valiant. That's exactly
Paul Jones.
Right. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Which, if anybody would like to get a little bit more in depth with the Paul Jones Boogie Woogie Man feud, then go back to the archives here on the podcast.
Episode 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Especially 1, because we covered, you know, Jimmy Valiant and Paul Jones on episode 1.
Yes.
We won't be touching on a lot of that here at all because we've
done that.
We covered it so in depth on that.
But we still do need to put over the fact of how big that feud was in 84.
It was huge.
It was I mean,
huge.
we cannot put that over enough, man. I mean, like I said, we had a whole trilogy on it. So.
Yeah. Well, speaking of JYD, that was another guy, short period until he was called up north to Vince.
Another one, yeah.
Another one.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So, we got that. Of course, Slater's being pushed as a super heel because he's already won
the U.S. title.
He's won the Mid-Atlantic title.
Right. Okay.
Then the U.S. title.
The U.S. Okay.
He gives the Mid-Atlantic title to Ivan Koloff.
That's right. Yeah.
And he's going after Flair's title.
That's right.
He actually makes a run for the TV title
in
that TV title tournament.
Didn't he actually beat Flair or get not? I don't think he actually beat him, but there was a little bit of a controversy. Where Slater was going around calling himself the world champion.
The world champion.
Once again, people don't, including myself, Mike, don't remember or give Dick Slater enough props, man.
That was good.
That was good stuff.
That was very good stuff.
Like I said, a little bit of research I've done this week, that was what I have stuck with more than anything with some of the Dick Slater stuff.
Yeah.
Because that was the most entertaining and what drew me in.
That was their heel at that time. That was their big heel.
And man, he could just once again. I know we're going to do a series on Dick Slater.
Yeah,
at least an episode, if not more, probably more. Than one episode. So we don't want to. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time just putting Dick Slater over because we're going to do that.
All right.
But once again, man, if you're out there listening, you're not familiar with Dick Slater, YouTube some of this stuff, man.
Exactly.
It is tremendous.
Yes. He gives the Mid-Atlantic title to Ivan. And Ivan would lose it not too far along to a young rookie.
Right.
By the name of Angelo Mosca Jr.
Jr., yes.
Now, if you're not familiar with Angelo Mosca Jr.,
don't feel bad.
Well, let's start off. If you're not familiar with Angelo Mosca himself, King Kong Mosca.
Right.
Super big. I mean, he's been over in the Carolinas, Florida, Canada.
And he's old school. We're talking like
old
60s.
School.
Would you say 60s? Yeah. Definitely 70s.
Yeah, absolutely. This guy is tough. He is the toughest of tough.
Right.
So, you know how it goes with second generation wrestlers.
It's either hit or miss, brother.
Hit or miss.
Hit or miss.
This was definitely a miss.
Kind of a miss
here. I don't want to be so bad on Mosca Jr. Maybe they put him in there too quick.
Too soon.
Pushed him too soon.
Yep.
But, Yeah, it was. If you go back and watch some of these matches, they're horrendous. They're tough.
The best. Not the best.
No, they are not. His promos, not
very good.
No.
The ones with his father weren't bad. Now.
No, yeah, his father can tend to get a little wacky sometimes about stuff that he talked about.
We'd had a lot of headshots by this time.
Oh my god. But yeah, we were looking at one of Mosca Jr.'s one of his promos earlier. He was doing the interview with it was Crockett or someone, and you just look at him and it's still shot. It's like he looks like if Lou Ferrigno had a growth on his side, this would be Angelo Mosca. This would be Angelo Mosca Jr.
Oh no, man.
He's tough to look at.
Right.
I mean, not like his father was anything,
Well, yeah, man. I mean, it's definitely not a beauty contest, but at the same time, man,
it's rough.
But professional wrestling is an attraction that does utilize physical appearance, man. It does.
He had a good body. He definitely had a good.
He was in shape.
Yeah,
very good shape.
Definitely in shape, but his body his movements in the ring, they were just really awkward.
He just wasn't
he
needed to be. He just wasn't where he needed to be.
Yeah, and he wasn't long for. He was not long for it at all.
Well, I'll be honest with you, man. Before I did the research for this show this week, I didn't know who he was.
Right.
I really had no idea, and I even saw the part where he got the belt, and I'm like, really? Yeah. But they were pushing the hell out of him.
They were.
They were.
And
really
I don't understand. I mean, Dusty had to.
Once again,
I don't know if it's because of
maybe he owed the dad a favor. Maybe he helped him out. Give my boy a chance. And the guy, he did look good, man. He was in good shape.
Yeah.
We're definitely in the Hulk Hogan era now, where we're trying to, maybe not necessarily
physical
go for the
appearance.
Yes, sir.
Definitely.
Yeah, man. Yeah. More about the presentation and the actual bell to bell.
I don't think the face could have gotten him any merch sales.
No. He may have actually worked good as a mask.
Yeah. He could have definitely been on a Geico commercial.
Oh yeah. So easy that Junior can do it.
Yeah. Or maybe not.
Maybe not, man.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Maybe it's not that easy.
But you got to give Ivan Koloff his props in those few matches.
No,
man.
I tell you what. let me just tell you, it's not just props.
He deserves the freaking award of all awards.
Yes.
God bless Ivan Koloff,
all
man.
Right,
may he rest in peace.
Yeah,
God bless him.
Yeah, you need. Here's part of the company now.
Yeah, you seriously.
Thank you for doing that.
Yes, I mean here's 10% of his paycheck.
Yeah.
From here on out. But that's the great thing about Ivan, man. A lot of those old school guys, they could take anybody and make them look good, and make it believable and get the crowd. But yeah, man, you talk about a pro, because I watched that match over this weekend.
That was.
Whew.
That's fucking terrible.
It's a bad one, but man, Ivan kept it together. I mean, and the crowd stayed hot. Thank God for Ivan. So now, man, what? So let's move on to more positive.
You'll probably do a whole thing on
just on this.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I know we're going to do a whack wrestler show one of these weeks, so he'll definitely be in on that one.
Well, I tell you this, we'll move on from Mosca. And Dusty brings in, now, of course, Slater's their top heel. Dusty brings in this, I don't even know how to describe him. He is, and will become, the firecracker of that territory, and even on into the expansion for regional. Tully Blanchard.
Tully, man. Yep. One of the best heels of all time.
Absolutely.
Without a doubt, man.
He's coming in young,
yep.
As far as, being in that territory.
Right.
He's building himself up at this point, but he is going to become the basis for what all heel wrestlers should and could be.
Oh, absolutely, man. I mean, just look at, when I think of Tully, obviously the first thing I think of is Horseman, obviously, man, because it was such a huge deal. And I think history has shown over and over, Mike Payne, and brother, if you think I'm wrong on this, you stop me right now. But I think history has shown over and over that Tully Blanchard was essential for the Horseman, man.
Yes.
Because let's just be completely honest, brother. It never really worked with anybody else. I mean, the closest you got was in the WCW Horseman with Benoit.
Oh, yeah.
That was the closest, but man, it never ever reached the same sort of, I guess, God, I don't even know what the word, man. With Tully, it was a whole different thing.
Oh, I mean, he was such a heat magnet.
Yes.
I
mean, you had to have Flair, you had to have Anderson,
right.
and you had to have Blanchard.
Yes.
Or it wasn't a Horseman.
No.
But, the other two things I think about are him and Magnum. A
Yeah.
blood feud.
Which would go.
And who else? Or who else could have just the hottest feud and be just as hateful of a feud? Dusty Rhodes.
All right.
Man, I mean, Tully had blood feuds with both of these guys, man. In other words,
Most of Tully's would come in '85.
Right.
With Dusty. That was really bringing them together.
Yes.
In '84, his hot big feud, Ricky Steamboat.
Steamboat, man, that's right.
Steamboat coming back and winning the U.S. title from Dick Slater, and eventually losing it to another man who would join up with Tully to go after Flair. And this is the shock of all shocks. I mean, this was a big deal. This is a huge deal because we all love the man, but we understood where he was coming from. Wahoo McDaniel.
That's right. I forgot about that, man. That is right.
Right?
Yeah, because he was loved.
Loved. Absolutely loved.
That's right. Man, I had completely forgot about that.
Yeah.
So, tell us a little bit about this.
Well, it all started basically, Wahoo felt he was not given any chances with title shots.
Right.
Especially from Flair. Wahoo felt that, he had trained Flair up, sacrificed to get Flair into Starrcade to beat Harley.
Him, man.
Right.
Yeah, right.
And he kind of felt like, and he would put it over. I mean, he, some of it was a shoot, and some of it, he just, put over that. He felt like the poor little Indian, and everybody, as long as you give Wahoo let him ride with us and give him some beer,
he's okay.
We won't have to wrestle him.
Yeah, and Wahoo wasn't having it.
Nope.
Wahoo's had enough.
Absolutely.
It's almost another one of those Pez type situations to where
you see you can
justification.
Yes.
There's a little bit of justification, man, in that.
I think that's Dusty's.
Yeah. There's a real feeling to it, man.
That's Dusty's genius storytelling and booking.
Yes, sir. Because it's believable, man.
Yeah.
And that was the thing. You actually had sympathy for these heels.
Right.
Just like with Pez. I know we went into a whole episode, basically. Our second episode was about Pez Watley. And there's so many... Because there's a racism tinge there, man.
Yes.
There's no other way to put it.
No.
I mean, you have a black man who wasn't getting, his shots.
Right.
Now you have a Native American not getting their shots.
Exactly.
Man.
Yeah.
But just to show you the territory and the times, these were the heels.
Yes.
That's crazy, man.
I know.
By today's standards and the way that we have, evolved as society, we can look at that like, hey, man, Wahoo and Pez should have been the good guys.
Oh, I know.
For real.
Absolutely.
And not have changed a thing.
No.
No. It's a trip, man.
I always said, one of the best heels is the guy that feels justified in what he's doing.
Yes, sir.
That doesn't think he's doing anything.
He's righteous, man.
Right.
He's righteous. And dude, you can even look into movies and TV shows in the same
Absolutely.
way, man. The best villains are the ones that you actually can have a little bit of sympathy for.
Right.
You can relate a little bit to what they're saying. I don't want to give any spoilers for the latest Avengers movie, but there's a little bit of that in the latest Avengers movie. It's like Thanos
you really look at
had good reasons for what he did. Just saying, man, it relates back to wrestling, and we're talking about wrestling like 30 years ago.
Yes.
Yes. Once again, man,
It's
Dusty's.
Yep.
Dusty's
yeah.
Genius, man.
I know, and I'll say it. And a lot of people disagree with it, and a lot of people talk, just terribly about Dusty's booking, but stuff like that, reaffirms to me, Dusty's a genius.
And Mike, and I know, man, we got to stay on point, because brother, you know how I feel about Dusty, and everybody who's listening at this point should know how I feel about Dusty. But when I hear all the hate on him, and I think to myself, but we're still talking about what he wrote today. Everybody's like, yeah, Dusty sucks, but I love the Horseman. Well, motherfucker, I hate to tell you, but Dusty's idea was the Horseman, man, to put them together. I mean, to keep them together.
Yep.
I mean, everything that everybody hates on, Dusty wrote it. or excuse me, the stuff everybody loves, I should say, was written by the man they hate on.
Exactly.
Whatever. All right. Man, I saw something today about Hulk Hogan, and I don't want to get into the controversy with Hulk Hogan, and I don't want to get into that. But Bruce Pritchard said something on his podcast that people hate Hulk Hogan because Hulk Hogan was successful.
Right.
And brother, I'm 100% with that. Now, I know with everything he's done recently, or the things that have come to light, I know that may have changed for some people when they have legitimate reason not to like the man. But I think overall, at least for years past, same thing with Dusty, same thing with Hulk, man. People hate on greatness. And it's human nature, brother.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
It's just human nature.
Yeah.
But once again, man, let's get back into 1984. Dusty's brilliance. Again, with
for
Wahoo.
sure.
Wahoo's justified, man.
Wahoo's justified, and it leads into a huge feud between Wahoo and Flair for the title, with with Tully being the antagonist with Wahoo.
Right.
And they would have different feuds with, like, Steamboat, of course, with Steamboat. A little bit with Dusty. Dusty would come out there and say, Flair, God knows, holy crap, there's Dusty and Flair together.
Right.
But
as a team.
Flair, as a team.
As a unit. Right.
Against these guys. But Flair goes after a guy he's had a lot of history with to get him as a partner to go against Wahoo and Tully. It's Blackjack Mulligan.
Mulligan, man, yes.
Mulligan.
Yes.
Unfortunately, this doesn't quite work out or happen.
Okay.
Because, of course, Blackjack gets called up north to...
that's correct.
Vince.
Yes. It was almost like somebody was up here just kind of picking them off, man.
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
Hey, but you can't blame the wrestlers, man. I mean, they got paid more money, got a bigger production. Hey, everybody says Vince stole talent. I look at it as Vince gave talent more options.
Hey, exactly.
It's the truth, bro.
That's true. Do you think... Okay. I know Piper came out on the great end of that deal.
Absolutely.
And of course, he got Harley as well.
Sure did. Yes, sir.
You think Harley came out for the better on that end?
We talking as far as his career goes? We talking financially?
Well, I mean, as far as
because I don't know what they were making. I know Harley made a lot of money, brother.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't.
Yeah, for sure.
Harley definitely wasn't hurting when he went to WWF.
No.
I'll say, man, it's the thing about the WWF at that particular time is that you're definitely going to be more exposed.
More exposed, more marketed.
More marketed, man. I think I've heard on a lot of shoot interviews where, Vince will be like, well, I can only pay you X amount per match, but you may make this, and this off merchandise and toys, T-shirts. I don't know, man. That's one of those questions,
Career-wise.
I think Harley was so good. Almost like how I waffled on Flair a couple of weeks ago. I think Harley can kind of fit into that as well. Where I think Harley was just so established, man. He was going to be fine.
JYD.
JYD is a good one because I was just about to bring him up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Once again, he got a lot of exposure.
Right.
He was on the cartoon. That's a big deal, man.
That was a big deal.
I mean, if you're on a Saturday morning cartoon, brother, that's huge, man. Yeah. He sold a lot of toys. He sold a lot of action figures. But overall, as far as a wrestling fan goes, not as a businessman,
right.
As a wrestling fan, probably not. Man.
Yeah.
Probably not. He never had a belt. He never got a run with a belt. But JYD was also kind of an attraction.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think overall JYD is a great example. I mean, man, there's other examples. Valentine's another great example. He got his little bit of push in the beginning.
I see.
Yeah, and even the tag. He got the tag belts with Brutus.
With Brutus.
But he obviously it kind of fell down. You know, I can look at Rick Martel, even though he wasn't Crockett. You know, you're talking about an AWA champion,
Right.
but man, everybody remembers the model.
Yeah.
You know, very few people will remember the AWA champion, but they remember arrogance.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
You know, but yeah, man, I've never hated on Vince, you know, for taking the talent, but it truthfully was taken out of malice, man. It was definitely taken to hurt your competition.
Right.
But the individual wrestlers, man, hey, brother, they get to buy new houses and, you know, feed their families even better. So you can't, you know, it's hard to hate. You definitely can't hate on the wrestlers for taking the money. Can't really hate on Vince for having the resources, because it did work out for him. But overall, as far as being a fan of the business, yeah, man, it definitely hurt. Definitely.
All right, we're going to talk about next. Some more Florida guys coming up.
And man, what a just a talent pool, brother. Just Jesus.
Yeah.
Man, what a talent.
Absolutely.
It's almost like for everything Vince takes, well, motherfucker, we're going to go down here to Florida and we're going to match you.
Exactly. And Dusty brings up Ron Bass,
Right.
Black Bart, Long Riders,
Right.
and with manager J.J. Dillon.
J.J. Dillon, man. Yes, sir.
Another one of my top
He's up there.
managers.
He's up there. Oh, I cannot wait till we do our manager episode.
Oh, I know.
I'm chomping at the bit for that one. Definitely, man. Definitely one of the higher tiers. And both of those guys, man, I don't think people give Bass.
Absolutely.
They don't give those guys enough props,
No.
man. You know,
Especially Bass. Bass, you know,
Bass was great, dude.
Bass was so good. I think Bart was so good in the ring.
Bart
But-
didn't have as much charisma, though, I don't think.
Right.
Bass did.
Bass just, oh my God, he could just work and talk and.
And even his mustache, man.
Oh.
I mean, the handlebar put it over, brother.
Yeah, just having that. I mean.
And the chaw, man, he'd always chew tobacco, you know. I mean, he looked... Dude, Ron Bass, like, even Black Bart, man, it's like, Black Bart's not a real name. You know what I'm saying? But Ron Bass is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, man?
Yeah.
Just those little subtle psychology type things, you know, really add to it for me. And because I like Black Bart, you know, he was okay, but man, there was something about Ron Bass who
Well,
just
see,
was
that
the real
was
deal.
the, I really like Black Bart because the stuff that Black Bart was doing in the ring. You know, watching him do that Texas trash compactor leg drop off the top rope, man. That was pretty.
That was pretty badass.
Yeah,
man.
that was.
And it was new.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Nobody was doing
Yeah,
anything like
yeah.
that. That was
And,
new.
you know, he's a bigger guy. He's nowhere like a Kamala or a Bundy, but he's
big
a
old boy.
hoss.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, for sure. But of course, with JJ there, JJ was light it up. Because Gary Hart had kind of
He started
moved
going
on.
right. He was moving back out, I guess, toward Texas at this
Texas.
point.
Yep. I think they had him coming in and booking
And actually,
in world class. Yeah.
Right.
Which was great for him because
he was a genius,
at that
man.
time, I mean, gosh almighty, that was a good time in world class. It was a sad time because, of course, David Von Erich had passed away.
Right.
But that territory was...
It was red hot. Man.
Yes.
It was red hot.
Yes.
And, Gary Hart is just another one of those geniuses of the game, brother.
Right.
I mean, we definitely should do one of the, on the, I guess, the geniuses of the game, just like I just said. But, you got like Jake Roberts, he's up there,
Right.
Definitely Gary Hart, man. He was one that just had that psychology.
Yeah.
He got it, he knew it.
And, and here's the thing with Texas, and kind of looking back, it is 1984, it's a year of transition. A lot of these other promotions are working with each other to combat what Vince is doing.
Right.
Especially, with Flair being the NWA champion, he's still a traveling champion at that time.
He's still hitting the different territories.
He's not just in Mid-Atlantic.
Right. That's right.
He's going everywhere. And one of the stops, Texas.
Yep.
For the David Von Erich Memorial.
Against Kerry Von Erich.
Absolutely.
Yes, which we, you know how I feel about Kerry.
Historical.
Yes, man. I mean, it was one of those, just like you said, man, it was an iconic moment in professional wrestling history when Kerry beat Ric Flair for his brother who just passed away in Texas, man. Once again, it is on YouTube, or it was. I know it was at one point because I've watched this match a few times. If you haven't watched it, go back, people, and check this thing out.
Oh, absolutely.
It'll give you goosebumps. It's giving me goosebumps just talking about it. I'm in here in the Pud Cave getting goosebumps thinking about this.
Oh, I know.
But yeah, man, that was classic. But you're right, man. Flair was everywhere. we were still dealing with the territory system at this point.
Yeah, and that was the thing. The promotions working together for the greater good.
Right. Or to keep Vince McMahon in check.
Exactly. Exactly. So you're looking at that. There's another man that Dusty brings in, and his manager, and probably one of the most flamboyant characters since Gorgeous George, from England.
Yes.
The exotic Adrian Street.
With Miss Linda.
Yes,
sir. Another short-lived stay, if I'm not correct.
It really was.
He was in and out, man.
He
was great.
I loved Adrian Street.
He reminded me of Freddie Mercury to a certain degree.
Really?
I went back and watched a couple of his promos this week and just kind of got familiar with him. Just his...
It is so snarky.
Yes.
Everything he does is so snarky.
And it's so... I hate to use the term gay, but because he
that was kind of...
That was his gimmick, though.
Yeah.
That was his thing, man, because especially back in that day, we talked a little bit about the racism back then.
It was definitely...
homophobic.
Definitely androgynous.
Yes.
It was...
for a very homophobic crowd.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, really.
It
It's
really
instant
was.
heat. It was instant heat, man.
Yeah.
And I loved, because, Goldust later on, a lot of our more
take
younger audience would, exactly. Adrian Adonis for people more our age,
Right.
maybe grew up during
Of course,
the
Goldust is the old school now.
I know, isn't that a trip? He is.
Yeah.
Goldust's been around forever, man.
Yeah.
Dustin's been around forever, But what I always loved about those gimmicks is when they would put a woman with you to really just make you not know what's going on.
Right.
And I always thought that was great.
It was to distract.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And it was to confuse. I think it was to confuse people. It's like, well, I think he's gay and I hate that, but he's got a really good looking woman with him and they're making out, and they're together.
Yeah.
It was just great. But, man, some of his promos, they really reminded me of Freddie in a certain way. Because, Freddie had that, oh, man, what's the word I'm looking for? That pomp and circumstance type, that... I can't put it into words, man, but it was just a certain way, a certain charisma, and it reminded me of that.
Right.
Because let's be honest, man, Freddie, we'll talk about music. We have an episode about music coming up shortly. Another, hero of mine was Freddie Mercury, man. This guy was amazing.
Yes.
And you take that little bit of charisma and you put it in a professional wrestler.
Oh.
Dude.
Yeah.
It's white hot, man.
Yeah.
It's white hot.
Now, I tell you, I'm watching one of the promos, and he goes straight into this feud with Jimmy Valiant, and it is a great feud. But Jimmy comes out in one of the interviews and just lays some sugar on Miss Linda.
Yes, I watched this week. I watched that. Yeah.
She is just grinning from ear to ear. Adrian Street looks at her grinning, and he just pops her upside the damn head.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I was like, oh
what
my
the
god.
Fuck?
Oh my god.
You can't do that.
He just smacked her upside the head for real.
Dude, once again, showing how society has changed.
Oh.
And here's the thing. Dude, it would get over with the crowd.
Yeah.
If you were a heel,
Yeah.
like, you remember when Baby Doll was a heel? And I think Dusty slapped her, man, the crowd blew.
Boom.
Now, granted, Baby Doll take care of herself.
Yeah.
Baby Doll was gorgeous, too, man. Jesus, dude.
We'll get to her in the 85.
Oh, yeah, we'll get to Baby Doll Perfect 10, man. Oh, she is gorgeous. Still is, man. She is still beautiful. God almighty. But she could take care of business, too, man. That's what I realized about Baby Doll. It's like she would give you the night of your life and beat the shit out of you if you pissed her off. If you didn't leave in time, she'd beat the hell out of you. But it goes to show, man, how society has changed.
I know. With the whole thing, with the whole angle. I mean, they had this great... And I'm telling you what, if you ever get to see this, watch this Jimmy Valiant Adrian Street match. It was one of the TV matches. They worked just a match and probably did like a total of probably 3 moves. Right.
It was over.
It was over,
man.
Yeah. Oh my God, it was so over with everybody. They just did these spots, these funny spots, and it was just they worked the crowd.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are a professional wrestler, because I know we have some independent guys listen to us. Listen to what Mikey just said. You don't have to go in here and do 100 spots, man. You don't have to go in here and cut 1,000,000 flips. You don't have to go out here and do a gymnastics show.
No.
You can do 3 moves, and if you do them correctly, and you know how to work your crowd,
everybody will be entertained.
Everybody's entertained, man.
Yes.
Nobody gets hurt. Nobody gets any broken bones. Everybody goes home. The crowd goes home.
Just guide them. Take them with you.
Take them with you, people. You don't. It's not a fucking stunt show. It's a wrestling show. But anyway, that's enough of my soapbox.
There you go.
Stepping off.
All right. More heels. Well, let's go back. Let me finish off Adrian Street right quick. They would have their short feud. Paul Jones would interfere, and this would actually turn Adrian Street babyface, and they accepted it. And he teamed with Boogie Woogie Man.
That's all you needed, though.
Damn.
Dude, that's it. You're done. I'm teaming with Boogie Woogie Man. Okay, we love you now. Once again, a testament to the Boogie Woogie Man, Jimmy Valiant, brother.
Just sprinkle some boogie on it.
And brother, and you know, you talk about sprinkling that boogie magic. Look at who he sprinkled it on, man. You're talking about a possible bisexual Englishman.
Yes.
In the South.
Right.
And he's over because he's teaming with the Boogie Woogie Man, brother. Boogie Magic, brother.
Yep.
Boogie Magic.
Yep.
That's it. That's all you can say about it.
But it wouldn't be long till after that, you know, Adrian Street would move on.
Right.
You know, it was just one of those things. It just happened. You know, it just, there was no...
Just gone.
Gone.
Just one day,
Gone.
man. He's out. Yeah.
But let's keep on that. You know, bringing in strong heels. Rookie, nephew to Ivan Koloff, Nikita Koloff, comes in 1984.
Greatest heel of all time in my
He is super big. I mean, right now this is Nikita's. You know,
at his peak of
freaking huge.
Beast.
I mean, just
Beast.
not just over with people.
No,
just
you mean physically?
Physically, this man is
like 0% body fat.
Yeah.
300 pounds.
Yes.
Of just bulk.
Yeah.
He's just he's a boulder.
Yeah.
He is a boulder, man.
Yeah.
It's almost like Bill Goldberg
All right.
for the later generation.
Absolutely.
But we're talking about 1984.
Yeah.
And we're talking about probably a little bigger because I think steroids were still legal back then.
Yes.
I think, you know, I don't know what the rules and
pretty
regulations
sure.
were, but they were legal for years, and I'm pretty sure that this was during that time period. Nikita was, dude, he was a beast.
Yes.
He was scary. Man, I've always said Nikita, which, you know, we just had an episode last week about if Nikita would have stayed heel. In my opinion, Nikita Koloff was the greatest heel of all time. 100%, man. He was scary. He was huge. He could do it. He would cheat. You know, he would do all, but he didn't need to.
Right.
And I go back to using this word again. He was scary. He was legitimately, swear to God, terrifying. Man, when Nikita Koloff walked into the ring and he would tear up one of these enhancement guys, you thought he killed him, man. And
God.
And then you thought that he was going to help Russia do that to everybody in the United States.
Absolutely.
Everybody.
It looked like he would just take these guys and just fold them.
Dude, I was more scared of Nikita than I was a nuclear bomb. It's like we had to watch TV shows and movies and shit in school.
You can't duck and cover from Nikita Koloff.
Nikita Koloff will stomp you in your head if you try to damn duck and cover.
Yeah.
Hell, that'll keep you from a nuclear blast. Everybody knows that.
All right.
But Nikita Koloff will just stomp you in the head and then sickle you.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, fuck that. I'll take my damn chances with the bomb.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, man, you're right. That another strong, you know, cornerstone of the company for the next few years.
Yes.
You know, is coming in. You
Oh,
know?
absolutely. And it's just instant heat.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, you put that Russia gimmick. I mean, even Vladimir.
Yeah.
God bless Vladimir. What was this? Petrov.
Vladimir Petrov.
Petrov.
Yes.
Yeah. You
Yes.
know, and same thing, man. You put him with Uncle Ivan, man, instant heat. You know, and he was a huge guy too. But yeah, man, Nikita. To me, man, none was greater as far as being a heel, of legitimately getting that emotion out of me than Nikita Koloff.
Right. Let's see. So you put him with that. Yeah. Okay. Since we're bringing in such strong heels, let's bring in another strong babyface in the Raging Bull, Manny Fernandez.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Once again, man, we cannot put over how over this guy was. Man.
Yeah.
I mean, we just can't give it enough words, man. He was popular as hell. Dude, he was so heavily showcased on that Saturday show. You know, from when I was doing, at least through that year of 86.
Yes.
yeah, once again, man, I just can't put over how big and how overman he was.
Oh my God, he was so.
No, when did him and Dusty team? This is 80. Okay,
yes,
okay.
84. Actually going into that, and they're going to join up to go against Kernodle and Koloff for the tag titles, which they would eventually win in the cage against them, and you would see the turn of the Russians on Kernodle.
Right.
Putting them out. If you've ever seen the match was fantastic unto itself. But if you ever saw the aftermath of that, with the Russians just destroying Kernodle,
right.
I mean, literally destroying. At one point, he gets dumped on the back of his head.
For real.
It looks ungodly.
And let me ask you, Mike, this was pretty much the end for him, wasn't it? Was he still around after this turn?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he would still go. He would work the injury, which would bring in. He would bring in his trainer. The man that trained him, Ole Anderson.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
To go against the Russians.
Yeah, that's right.
To go against the Russians at Starrcade.
Starrcade, that's right.
And we're about at that halfway point now where we're Dusty's really building up to Starrcade. Right. And Ole would have a mystery partner. He said, "This guy, you know him. You've dealt with him. He's a big guy, and you're gonna be afraid of him. Once you know who he is." Then it turns out to be Don's brother, Rocky Kernodle,
yeah.
Keith Larson.
Right.
I'm still not convinced myself that it was supposed to be Keith Larson.
It's almost like it's a last minute change. Like they were supposed to bring somebody else in and it fell through.
Yeah, and we could go through those what ifs.
Yeah, that might be.
I'm convinced it was either Stan Hansen,
possible,
or Abdullah,
yeah,
or Brody.
Yeah, because it just seems like Keith Larson would not be. But then again, man, maybe Ole was just trying to really put it over. And really trying to make this thing huge.
Yeah, it could have been.
This is the same man behind Shockmaster.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, and you could see it in the story to where it's like, okay, Keith's the brother, trying to avenge his. Keith, I felt was a lot. Well, damn. He's along the lines of that. Angela Mosca Jr.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That Kendall Windham, that.
Yes, sir, man. Even Sam Houston, maybe.
He's there, but he's not quite
where he ought to be. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Lasertron,
right.
yeah.
All
the talent in the world. I mean, should be the greatest of all time, but just held back for whatever reason, like Lasertron. I totally get that, man. I totally agree.
I just thought it was a mistake, but that's just total bullshit. You just put in Lasertron in that.
I got to bring them up, man. I got to bring up Lasertron, Big Mama, and Wayne Sisk at every show.
Well, there you go.
I just knocked them all out.
Knocked them all out.
All right. But, moving on.
But no, it just seemed because Keith, he was just that awkward. If you ever heard any of those promos from Keith Larson,
I'm not familiar. I mean, I'm familiar with him, but I don't know if I remember any of the promos or anything.
It's
pretty rough.
It's a sight to behold.
Pretty bad.
Yeah, it's tough.
I'll do a little bit of research on that today.
His ring work. I mean, his in ring, he was good. He was just he was that mid card. No, he was that lower card guy.
Right.
He could work, he could go, but there just wasn't anything there.
Right, you just have enough to put him over that edge.
He didn't have it.
Didn't have it.
Yeah,
exactly. And that's what it boils down
to.
Man. Hey, dude, look at like Brad Armstrong, Tim Horner.
Right.
When I think of some of the best workers that just didn't have that it factor, that's
right.
too. I thought of it because I was a huge fan of these guys.
Yeah.
You always thought they could win.
Right.
You always thought they could win, man. They could always beat Tully. They could beat Arn. They could beat Rick.
Yeah.
And, oh man, and they'd always come so
Close.
very close, man. But
So close.
That's just two other guys that just didn't have that it factor. They just, all the talent in the world, man.
It wasn't like with Don Coronado. Because Don Coronado had
it.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, those promos I went back and listened to this week were phenomenal. He was funny.
Yes.
That's what got me. He was a heel.
Yeah.
He stayed true to that heel form.
Mm-hmm.
But, because some heels will give you the promos where they're just mean and nasty. Ollie Anderson's a perfect example. Some are too funny. Cornette. Sometimes, man, he made me laugh too much. I couldn't hate him because he was cracking me up.
Yeah.
Coronado was right there in the middle, man. He would say enough.
Yeah.
It was snarky, man. It was society.
Yep.
That was it, man. And it was hilarious and it was clever. And it was just entertaining.
I think for that moment and that build up to Starrcade, turning him baby was good.
Yeah, sure.
In the long run,
short-sighted maybe.
I like Don as a heel.
He was good at it, man.
I really liked him as a heel a lot better.
He was so good at it.
Yeah.
But he was one of those that could work either side.
He can work either side, but God, if I had my choice, it would be heel Coronado.
Right.
It was so good.
Just too good of a heel.
Yeah. And I think he got lost in the shuffle of baby faces.
Well, man, you got Dusty. You got, Ricky Steamboat, right? He's still around, man. I mean, dude, right there. I mean, geez, that's your two biggest babies of all time. Other than Hogan and Steen, maybe.
Flair's still that in between.
He's still, man, yeah. Exactly, man.
You got Raging Bull coming in. You got Magnum, who's going to be coming in.
Yeah, man. And he's going to take it and run with it.
Right. So. And I think he just got lost in that shuffle.
And you really didn't have a lot of strong heels, man. Not. I mean, you did. You had Tully, obviously. You had some strong heels, man.
Definitely some strong heels.
But maybe not as many.
Right.
Compared to the strong faces you had, maybe. Maybe the ratio was a little,
a little off. I think turning Wahoo was definitely a surprise, and it made for good story, but it wouldn't be long after Starrcade that he would turn back.
And Wahoo was just one of those people, man. You just couldn't hate him. You just could
not
hate Wahoo. He was just too good, man. He was too tough, and he was, dude. Another one of the real deals in professional wrestling, the real tough guys, is Wahoo McDaniel.
Yes,
I remember hearing about him getting in trouble, dude. I remember
my all-time favorite wrestlers.
Dude, he was phenomenal.
Ever.
Phenomenal. He make you believe it.
Yes.
That was the greatest thing about Wahoo, man. It's a commonality between the wrestlers we talk about. The ones that we really put above and beyond everyone else is the ones who made you believe it.
Yes.
Because they believed it because it was real.
Right.
Once again, man, I know we talk a lot about pro wrestling in general, and it is a strange animal. When everything's predetermined, but at the same time, it is real.
Yes.
It's a trip, man. It's a trip.
I know. So, we got a lot of build-up coming for Starrcade.
Right.
Let's see. Another big, like we talked about with Jimmy Valiant and Jones feud. Eventually, the assassin would turn.
Yep.
Maybe because of Paul Jones slapping him around because
the mask.
Because he wouldn't get the job done
with
getting
the hair.
rid of Jimmy Valiant.
Right.
So that was a weird turn as well because the assassin was just
embedded.
Oh my God!
As a heel.
Yeah.
Right. For a long time too, man. I mean, these guys have been around. Both of the assassins had been around.
Yeah. Also, a new up and coming. Well, not so new and up and coming. He had been around for quite a while, but new to the area. Avalanche Buzz Tyler.
Buzz Tyler, yes, sir, yes.
Not a big fan of Buzz Tyler. I was not a big fan of.
I'm kind of indifferent.
Really?
Kind of indifferent.
He was just.
He was
there.
Yeah.
He kind of had that. He was a strange cat because he kind of had that. I would say that good old boy, big hoss,
yeah.
But he kind of tried to incorporate that boogie woogie style of just like he'd do the leg dance and the the shuffle and all that.
It just wasn't the same, man.
No.
You just couldn't get it over.
No.
I mean, not like the boogie
No.
woogie, man.
No.
Why even try?
All right. So, we got that coming. And he does, he actually starts teaming with the Assassin, and they're going into their match, in Starrcade against Paul Jones's Zambui Express.
That's right.
The big guys.
Yes.
The big guys.
Right.
So we got that, and we've already got it set up for Jones and Jimmy Valiant for the Loser Leave Town Tuxedo Street Fight.
Right.
Let's see, who else is coming into the area? I think we're offhand. I know Barry and Mike Rotunda come into the area just for a little bit.
Briefly, and then guess where they go?
Up north.
They get beamed up, brother.
Yep, sure do.
Beam me up, Vince.
Yep. So, let's see. We've got that. We've got, of course, Ole Anderson and
now
his partner.
Is Arn come in yet? Arn doesn't come in 85?
85.
Okay.
Yes, not until 85.
All right.
We've got Ole and Keith Larson going against Nikita and Ivan at Starrcade with Don Coronado in their corner.
Right.
Ricky Steamboat and Tully for the TV title,
TV,
and they're both putting up $10,000.
That's right. Yep. Right.
No run rule. As far as Tully was best at that.
Right.
Ducking outside, running, getting himself disqualified.
Yep, that's right. Counted out. Yep.
Absolutely. So none of that. If he gets counted out or disqualified, he loses the
money.
title.
Yeah.
Loses the
title and the money.
And the money.
Yeah, that's right.
And the money. Another person that's come in is pulled up from Florida, not so much known for, their run in Florida, but as the former WWF champion, Superstar Billy Graham.
That's right. Now, this is before the Kung Fu gimmick, though, correct?
No, this is right in the
heart.
midst.
Oh, okay.
We are deep in some Kung Fu.
Okay, all right.
So
Kung Foolery is what I like to call it.
Kung Fu master from Calcutta.
God almighty. Damn it, Superstar.
Kung Fu master from Hong Kong, and this is I'm
quoting
from his promo from
I remember,
coming in.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Coming out with the nunchucks and everything, man.
My God,
Jeez.
black belt
Yeah,
and everything. Yeah, shaved head, everything. And he is taking on Wahoo McDaniels for the U.S. title.
Right.
This seemed like it was just a weird thing to happen. It was seemed like it was thrown together out of nowhere.
Right.
Kind
of put in there.
Yeah.
You just kind of put
really?
it. It's for real. Yeah.
Yeah. That was one of the big matches. Let's see if there's. I'm trying to think if I'm missing something besides the main event for Starrcade 84, and this is where we're going from Dusty and Flair being friends, helping each other out in this feud, to Dusty wants that title.
Yeah, he wants the shot, man.
He wants that title back.
Right.
2-time champion.
Right.
Beat Holy Race twice.
Right.
Against another 2-time champion. 3-time champion at this point because Flair had won it back from Kerry. 4 times if you really count.
Wasn't there a Japanese show or something? Or
no, that was Kerry in Japan.
Okay.
He won it back. New Zealand, it went unrecognized for so long that Harley beat him, and then Flair beat him a few days later back for it. So at that point, Flair would be a 4-time champion. Dusty wants that title.
And now this is this is not the Gathering. The Gathering was 83, correct?
No, Gathering was
85.
85.
This is the $1 Million Challenge.
$1 million.
That's right.
And that was the thing. These two huge, and at that time, 2 baby faces were going against each other.
2 of the big baby faces
for the world title.
Right.
And $1 million. With a special guest referee. Smoking Joe Frazier. That's right. Have you ever heard any Joe Frazier's promos?
I've heard him. I couldn't tell you what he was saying.
Okay.
I've heard them. They need subtitles.
Yeah. So that's where we're going with this. But no,
one of the worst finishes I may add, man, to that match. Well, whatever.
It was definitely bullshit.
It was definitely bullshit.
Yeah.
Yes,
for sure.
Even as a kid, I'm like, well, everybody bleeds.
I
mean, Dusty bleeds every day.
I just saw Abdullah.
Dude.
Boom, boom. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot 2 matches.
Oh, yeah.
From Starrcade 84. I can't believe I did this. Dick Slater against Ron Bass.
That's right. Yep.
At this point, Dick has left and come back as a babyface.
Right.
In 84.
Right. So he's already left.
Coming from like the biggest heel
to being a baby now.
To being a big baby. Right. You know, one of their top baby faces.
And it's over.
It's over.
And it's over.
Somehow it worked and it was over.
Another testament to Dick Slater, man.
Right.
Once again, another reason to put this man over.
And he's going head up against Ron Bass for the Mid-Atlantic title.
And man, what a hell of a match that was too. You talk about a hard hitter, bro.
Yeah. We'll definitely talk more in depth about Starrcade 84
coming up.
Definitely. But you know, you got that. You got the Raging Bull against Black Bart for the Brass Knuckles title.
Which, we can skip that one.
I'm not sure how that.
Well, yeah, brass knuckles. I mean, brass knuckles are illegal. I
see, here's where I'm going to call.
I never liked that, man.
You got brass knuckles champion and brass knuckles
illegal.
I don't even know what that means.
Why not just have a 40?
Can somebody tell? But no, here's where I'm going to call bullshit on your boy Dusty Rhodes. And every time he does something wrong, he's your boy Dusty Rhodes.
Hey man,
everything he does
good. That's your boy.
He's a damn genius.
Hey, the man wasn't perfect, brother. He wasn't perfect.
No. But here is Dusty and the Bull. And they are tag team champions.
Yeah, yes.
There is no tag team title defended
on this card.
At all.
You're right.
You put Manny in a bullshit match against Black Bart for some damn
bullshit title, man.
Bullshit title that where the hell this title come from?
It like popped in and out, man. It came in and it came out.
What?
Here's the Brass Knuckle Championship.
Okay.
Okay. Like so, why not just have a Glock Championship? I mean,
yeah.
I mean, we're gonna have weapons. You know, the knife champion. You
got a Switchblade Championship. I can wear out there.
Well, you know, Superstar had the Nunchuck Championship. So,
yeah.
I mean, now that would have been cool, actually.
Hey.
You know, Nunchuck match.
Oh my gosh.
Down for that.
I'm gonna have none of it.
Lasertron would have the laser tag championship.
Oh Jesus, I'm done. Good night, everybody.
For the laser gun championship, Lasertron, fuck it, man, it writes itself.
Oh.
So let's just go ahead and skip that, man. Let's skip the.
That was it because I'll call bullshit on that. It was just because you put it that way, but going back to Slater and Ron Bass, this is going to be a great match, and a great feud because Dylan's Long Riders and Tully Blanchard were in this huge feud with Steamboat and Slater.
Right.
I mean, it was getting just
crazy,
out of control crazy. We're at the point where the Long Riders went to Steamboat's gym and, screwed around with his brother.
Oh, yeah.
And started messing around with the gym chair and stuff in there. Oh, man, this was getting...
That was real.
Heated.
That was something real,
heated.
Man. Now, Mike, let me stop you for 1 second, man, because we're in Starrcade, and I know we've gone over the card, but... I know that in 1984 there was no Great American Bash yet.
No, not yet.
But there was a
Boogeyman Jam.
Yes.
Well,
talk to me a little bit about that, Mike.
Well, we talked about that on episode.
Was it 3, 2?
No, it was 1.
1.
Yeah.
What? Just to kind of refresh my memory, man. This I guess was the precursor to the Bashes, wasn't it?
I would say it's that summer event that Dusty wanted to do. In between that 6-month period, and that year-long stretch to a Starrcade.
Right.
You got to have that summer event to have the big event.
Right, but it was like a tour. The Boogeyman Jam wasn't just a show one night.
No.
It was more of a tour. What were some of the matches, man? Just before we get to
Whew,
Because I know obviously Jones and Valiant.
Jones and Valiant and
were-
Jonesy the Assassins.
Right.
That was a big focal point. But other than that, I mean, a lot of the stuff.
Were there world title matches? Did Flair work these shows?
I'm not sure that Flair did any of them.
Okay.
Like I said, he was still traveling a lot
Right.
as a traveling champion.
And this tour is more or less to kind of highlight Boogie. I mean,
Yes, this was all about Boogie.
and Jones.
Yeah.
So
You had Dusty on there, of course.
sure.
But yeah, definitely highlighting guys like Steamboat and Wahoo, Tully.
Tully, yeah, man. Because now Tully and Boogie Woogie Man had a little bit. I know we discussed
They did,
that.
yeah.
And I've gone back and watched some of that stuff.
That was
and,
good.
Man, that was great stuff.
Yes.
And didn't Tully actually have Gary Hart with him?
No, Paul Jones.
That's right. You're right. Yes, sir.
As soon as Tully
Yes.
came in for that year,
That's
Paul
right.
Jones was right there with him.
That's right.
Eventually, it just wouldn't work out because I think, honestly, Tully was just too strong of a personality.
For Jones's Army.
Yeah.
And I think we did talk about that too, because
Yes.
I misspoke, and I said Tully was too good for the Army, but what I should have said, I think Tully's promos, Tully's personality,
Yes, just too
did
strong.
not fit.
Just too strong.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
He was a horseman, man.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Oh yeah.
So I just want to touch on the Boogie Jam just for a moment. So this will bring us back in. The summer's over, man. We had a great tour. To me, like I said, it sounds like Dusty was experimenting with this thing for the bashes to come up.
Yes.
This was a
Trying new
dry
stuff.
run, so to say, dress rehearsal, a little bit lower end
Yes.
tour. And now next year in '85, brother, it is, and we'll get to that.
Oh yeah.
When we get to that, we'll get to that.
Yeah, because it's about to take off. I think, to me, it was just this was a fantastic year.
Yes.
And it had so many just great guys and such great talent. Some were hit and miss.
Right.
As far as how they would work out and the longevity of their stay in the territory. But I think this was a good jumping point to build on the future success of Jim Crockett Promotions in the Mid-Atlantic area.
Absolutely, man. And it's just like, we've said a couple of times, you just said it now, man. It was a transitional year. It definitely was the year that pro wrestling went from the smoky little pool hall or armories and little, rec centers
Yes.
to the mainstream, man. Now, obviously, we always give Vince the credit for that, but, man, Dusty kicked it off.
Yes.
Dusty kicked it off, man. Dusty is the one who said, okay, we're going to have this big show in '83.
Right.
We're
In
talking
83,
man.
yeah.
Now, granted, it's the end of '83.
Before anybody else.
It was before WrestleMania.
Right.
It was before anything that Vince had ever done.
Right.
It was before the MTV explosion. It was before everything. Dusty was on point with that, and he was ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. But that '84, I would say from Starrcade '83 to Starrcade '84 was so transitional.
Yes.
And just so necessary, because when '85 hit, brother, you've hit the ground running. In '85, man, it's on, brother. It is 100% full steam ahead. So that '84, you did see that transition.
Yeah.
And man, it's just God. It sucks in a way because we'll never get that back.
No.
That'll never happen again. It can't. It just physically cannot happen again. But just to be able to have lived it.
Oh,
and like I said, man, I wasn't even a fan at this time yet. But, going back, doing a little bit of research, going back, watching what little bit of tapes I could find, talking with you and other friends who, were familiar with it. Man, it was just so good.
Yes.
And you talked about that talent pool, Mike. Let's talk about 1984 talent. Now, we're not going to talk about how long they were there or how long they stayed, just the people that passed through. But, man, you're looking, Dusty Rhodes, Ric Flair, the Boogie Woogie Man, the Junkyard Dog, Roddy Piper, Greg the Hammer Valentine. Good Lord, man. Ernie Ladd would come in and out.
Ernie Ladd, yeah.
I mean, man, that's just right off the top of my head. That's not with, even digging too deep. Brother, we just named Hall of Famers. We just, and if they're not in the Hall of Fame, they should be. So, yeah, man, I mean, '84 was just such a great year, and it really just turned wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
It started changing it into sports entertainment for good or bad.
Right.
It is what it is. And, man, like I said, during that transition, man, what a great time to be alive. What a great time to be a fan.
No, it was amazing. It was so good.
Yeah, man.
It was. I sit here and think I can't put it over enough. The talent, and the guys, and we talked about the guys that left.
Right.
You got to talk about the guys that carried it.
Yeah, man.
For that whole '84.
Yeah.
Slater,
Boogie Woogie Man.
Boogie.
Dusty, obviously, man.
Tully.
Manny when he comes in.
Yep.
Tully. Oh God, yeah, man.
Steamboat
coming in. J.J. Dillon when he comes in. Gary Hart when he was in. Angelo.
The Koloffs and Corotto.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
bro.
the thing. They carried that company
On their backs, man.
Yeah.
And they carried it on.
Right.
Yeah, and kept going. And, man,
at a time where
great stuff.
Yeah.
It had great stuff with it. Well, Mike, brother, I guess this is a good place to start. Kind of wrapping it up. I know we got a couple little things we want to talk about before we make this podcast history. Just to kind of reiterate, the First and Fright thing again. That's going to be going on Friday night here at GameSwap at 9 o'clock, starting at 9 o'clock. Definitely come. Got his very special birthday today, Mike Payne.
That's right.
Very special birthday
That's
today. Right. Today is what, the 12th? Is that correct? Today's the 12th?
Yes.
On this date, August 12th, so many years ago, the one and only Chris Stowe was born. Chris Stowe is a good friend of mine and Mikey's. Chris Stowe was with us in the very beginning when we started our professional wrestling career. I've known Chris Stowe since 1994, I believe. About 94, 90. Yeah, about 94. So I just want to wish him a very happy birthday. If it wasn't for Chris Stowe, man, we may not even be doing this podcast, man.
We may not be here right now. Yeah.
Swear to God, man.
Absolutely.
Chris Stowe was essential in us getting into professional wrestling back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And he's a great friend, man. And, God bless Chris Stowe and his family.
He's a wonderful father.
Great dad, man. He's a working man, dude. He is... we won't put everything out there, but he's a working man, brother.
Yeah.
He's a hard-working man. He's got a lot of responsibilities.
That's right.
Great family man. His wife, Carrie, is wonderful. Brother, we got to put Carrie over, because she did so much for us back in that day, too.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, she was always one of the first ones to, help with concessions, help with tickets, help with whatever, man. Just good people, man. Happy birthday, Chris Stowe.
Yeah, you got any good Chris Stowe stories you could tell?
Not on air.
On air?
No, he's got kids now, brother.
Yeah. I know he knows one. He knows one. It's a good one, but it's one of the ones. I know at the point we were training in Monroe.
No, Matthews.
Was it Matthews? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. We were in the ring one day, and just going over some stuff, kind of working around, and my hearing is not the best.
What?
But he shoots me into ropes, and all I hear is clothesline. You can't hear watch clothesline
right?
or duck a clothesline or
right.
anything. Just hear clothesline. Okay. All right. So I'm just gonna take this clothesline, come back off the ropes. He had called duck clothesline.
Okay. Right.
I didn't hear that. I just heard clothesline.
So you're going to okay.
I'm going to take it full blown.
Right.
Well, he throws it up high for the duck. I don't duck.
Oh
and
no!
He comes straight across my face with the
at nose level.
Yes, right there.
Oh,
just right there.
Jesus,
Boom, down,
out, gone, man. See you.
Out for a couple seconds. Just out.
3 seconds.
I don't know.
1, 2,
Sure.
3.
All I know is he was standing over me. That Chris Stowe look. Standing over me.
Oh, I know the look.
No. Hell, are you alright? And I'm looking up and it's like, why are you not kicking me?
A true wrestler, brother.
I mean,
that is a true wrestler, man. You're knocked out.
Yeah.
You're beat the fuck up. You come to, and the first thing out of your mouth, why are you not kicking me?
Why are you not kicking me?
God, I love it, man.
But I was total, man. It felt like running into a brick wall.
Well, yeah, that's Chris
He
Stowe.
just took my head off. That was Nikita.
For real.
Yeah, that was Nikita. Give me the sickle.
I tell you, man, when I think back of just things in my life and some of the best times and the situations I've been in and out of, you as well as Chris Stowe, David Hayes as well, we're the four that really kind of got the ball rolling with
Yeah.
everything. You know, Stowe more than us, man.
Yeah.
You know, Stowe was the one. Is like, hey, I'm going to introduce you to these people that I've met. You know.
Right.
But man, some of the best times of my life have been with you guys, Chris Stowe included. And Chris Stowe, we're going. I don't know how. I don't know what we're going to have to do. I don't know if the stars are going to have to line or what. But we're going to get you on here one day, and we're going to have the Chris Stowe shoot interview.
Is Hayden still open?
No, it's not, man. Thank God.
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't drink anymore,
Yeah.
man. So thank God.
There you go.
You know, you ask if I have any Chris Stowe stories. Yes. Any I can
And
tell
they
on
were
air?
all- they were all from there.
Yeah, man. 90% of them from Hayden's.
Yeah.
Hayden's was a little bar we used to go to back in our training wrestling days. Remember the time we showed up at Last Call? Well, it's Last Call, guys. Well, give me about 7 of these, 8 of these, 10 of these.
That is no.
That's honest.
That is work.
That's
I mean, that
that's
is a shoot,
That's
man.
straight
That is
shoot.
that is no work. That is a straight shoot.
That bartender was pissed.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
He got a good fucking tip, though.
I mean, yeah.
You know,
I mean,
hell.
don't put it out there like that. You know.
Hey, man, you only got one order. Okay,
Hey,
motherfucker. Well,
right.
that's a challenge.
So, yeah. I mean,
Seriously, man, give me 5 shots, give me six beers, and you know we'll
Yeah.
take it from there.
Yeah.
Well, Mikey, brother, I've enjoyed it, man. Let me give a shout out to our local wrestling federation, the
Yes.
Millennium Wrestling Federation. Don't know when the date of their next show is. They just had a show last night.
Yes, they did.
So it'll be in not next Saturday, but the Saturday after next. Whatever. I'll let you guys.
26th,
Maybe 26.
25th, something like
Well,
that.
the
I'm terrible
20
at dates.
something, 25th. It would be the 25th.
Okay.
Man, it would be.
Yeah.
So I want to definitely give those guys a shout out. They're located at 508 Howard Street School Road, and you can also find the MWF on Facebook at MWF-live.com. Also check out the Fellowship of the Ring. It's a couple guys that work with the MWF. They are stupid. But in the coolest possible way, man. They're hilarious. I say
Yes.
stupid, but they're hilarious. But
Hey, I like stupid.
hey, stupid works, man.
Yeah.
They're not stupid people, but their humor.
All right.
You know, borderline, but it's hilarious, man. Check them out if you haven't checked them out. We'll put some links up as well. But you know, Mike, man, I really enjoyed this one.
Yeah, definitely. This is a lot of fun, and like I said, you know, I go back and look at a lot of this stuff. '84 to me, I don't know. It's there's something about it. It's really one of my favorite years.
Right, it's magical.
From Crockett.
It's almost a magical year, man, for wrestling, and
Yeah.
you know, because me being a Hulk Hogan fan, you know, which I am, you know, '84 was also the birth of Hulkamania,
Yes.
and really the beginning of the WWF expansion. Because I loved it, WWF too, man. You know, and I was coming up. To me, Crockett was the high point. I mean,
Right.
it was the gauge. It was real.
Yes.
Where you know, WWF's a little hokey, but man, I liked it too. You know, I mean, they had a good roster, and you know, '84 was just a magical year of professional wrestling. But as far as the Crockett's go, brother, I mean, like I said, man, we're going from the granddaddy of them all, Starrcade to Starrcade.
And you know, and we don't talk about this enough between the difference between the two, the WWF at that time and Crockett. The crowds.
Oh man, the crowds were essential, man. Yes. Well, you know, I think we did touch on that briefly, like as far as if Hulk Hogan would have come into Crockett about having the different,
Yeah,
you know, the
how
different
it
crowds
react.
You know, and that's a good point, man, because there is it's almost like every region has a different type of fan, you know, because
Yeah.
you look like Philadelphia, for instance, you know, coming out of that ECW style
Yeah.
and everything, man. You know, you're not going to get over there like you'd get over in Charlotte.
No.
You know, and vice versa,
Right.
obviously. But yeah, man, that's a good point too. And there's a lot of differences between the two organizations during that period. But yeah, man, the fans and the crowds.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the biggest thing.
Absolutely.
I mean, because you could have these great matches, you can have these great stories, these angles going on, but without that crowd there,
Yes, sir.
is it as good as?
Yeah. Is anything? Is
Yeah.
it good?
Yeah.
Hell, is it just good? Period,
It's
man.
good.
Because the crowd is you're doing it for the crowd,
All right.
and you're feeding off the crowd.
Yes.
And
And they're feeding off of you.
You know, once again, man, you know, being that we've been in wrestling on a very, very, very much lower scale,
Right.
but we've experienced that ourselves,
Yes.
man. Even with a 50 to 100 crowd,
Yes.
people crowd, the symbiotic relationship between performer and audience in professional wrestling is unbelievable.
Yes.
Man. I don't know how it is in theater or in any other kind of live performances, even music, man. I played music in front of people.
Right.
It's really not the same, man.
I don't know how to.
it's almost like the crowd can make you do what they want you to do, while you can make the crowd do what you want them to do.
Yeah.
It's all at the same time, symbiotic.
Yeah.
It's give and take on the same level at the same time in the same ratio.
It's unlike anything else.
It's a different animal. Man.
Really,
it's completely.
It is.
Animal. We'll get to that.
Yeah, definitely.
We're definitely going to do just
a good topic.
We're going to do a podcast on just pro wrestling, the entity of pro wrestling, and we'll get to that, man. I'm looking forward to that one too, man. We got a couple coming. I don't want to put anything out there. I like dropping them.
Yeah,
I like dropping them on Sundays.
I
man.
like it.
You know, that was when we first started. Me and you were even talking like, what should we do? Should we get up a teaser? Should we say this is coming up? And, you know, you were like, nah, man, let's just drop them.
Yep.
And I'm like, you know what? Fuck yeah. And if you notice, man, my cussing's getting a little bit better. You know, I don't cuss as much.
Is it really? Because I feel like we've dropped a lot of.
Well, I tend to cuss more on our wrestling shows.
That's true.
You know, I've been trying to really cut down on the pop culture stuff, you know, because we did the Comic-Con one and we got another pop culture one coming up. I try to kind of keep cool on the curse, but when it comes to wrestling, man, fuck it.
I am just so passionate about.
Me too, man. Me too.
That's the thing. I think we both are. We're so passionate about professional wrestling, and especially with the older stuff.
Yep.
That we do kind of get.
You tend to drop some more fucks.
Yeah.
So that's some bullshit.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And just really put out there your real true feelings about it.
Yeah. And you know, man, for me, like when we did the Comic-Con one, I'm like, I would like to share this with the Lincoln County, page. And don't everybody need to know my cussing like a sailor habit.
Yeah.
But on the wrestling shows, I mean, we probably know everybody's listening to this anyway.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
They all probably cuss as much as we do.
Oh, for sure.
If not more.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, man, I think you're right, dude. It's just having that passion and, even coming into this one today, not being as familiar with the year 1984, I was a little hesitant. I was even like, oh man, am I gonna be lost in the water here? Is Mikey gonna have to throw me the life preserver? But brother, I've learned some stuff today, and man, this is what when we first started talking about doing this podcast or PUDcast. This was part of the reason I wanted to do it, man. It was just to have fun and learn some shit,
right?
And just And brother, I think we did that today in spades,
for sure. I think it's a great era, and it definitely deserves more digging into. But like I said, go to YouTube. They actually have this playlist on YouTube.
Yes, sir.
1984, Year of Transition.
That's a long one.
It is. It's definitely.
But it's everything.
But
man.
It really picks out these stories and intricate storylines and angles that's being put together, that's being put in place, and a lot of high spots of the year that they put into it. But yeah, it's definitely worth it. Just so you can see the level of talent and what's going on, and what's to become, Jim Crockett Promotions going into '85.
Right, and going on and onward and upward at this point. In other words, man, I almost look at Jim Crockett as a flame that burned really bright, really quick. Now I know that the organization itself has been around for years.
Yes.
I'm just talking about from my experiences with it, from when I started watching it until it went out of business, which is only 3 years.
Right.
Man, it burned really bright, really hot.
Yeah.
And to me, '84 is when that match was struck.
Right.
And that's when it started.
But again, this was the fight. This was the big fight that was going to start the war.
Yes, yeah. This was when the war really, truly began.
Yes.
And it took years and a couple of decades for it to finally end.
Sure did.
But man, we got to witness it. And everybody's like, who won the war? We did. The fans.
Yes.
We did.
We won and we lost at the same time.
Yes, we won the battle, but we lost the war.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the after effects now, man, we'll get into that.
Yes.
We'll get into that. In fact, brother, let's go ahead and start wrapping this bad boy up.
Absolutely.
Man, we could go for another couple hours just on that alone.
For sure.
So, Mike, brother, once again, thank you for opening up the Pud Cave for the PUDcast.
Absolutely.
Enjoyed it, man. Hope to see everybody out here on Friday night at 9 o'clock for the First in Fright courthouse investigation.
That is going to be a lot of fun.
That's going to be a blast, man. I don't stay up past 9 o'clock anymore.
Yeah.
I really don't, man. I'm an early to bed, early to rise kind of guy, but man, I will make the sacrifice.
That's gonna be a lot of fun, man.
It's gonna be worth it, man.
Yeah.
I think I could stay up a little later. Leonard Skinner and paranormal investigations, I can make exceptions.
Yeah.
For that,
Yeah.
Well, Mikey, brother, You got anything you want to say before we sign
All good,
off?
man. Check it out. 1984, year of transition.
And you will definitely not be disappointed. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate it as always. Thank you for tuning in. And
Like, share, subscribe.
yes, man. Let everybody
Please,
tell people
absolutely.
about us, man.
Yes.
I mean,
Just don't like the post. Go to the YouTube. Like it. Like the videos.
share it, man.
Share it. Absolutely.
Tell your friends about us.
Yes.
And just like this week, man, we actually had a little uptick with our activity on our Facebook. You know,
Right.
People, started like putting who they thought would be a better person in the cage. You know, same thing this year, man.
Yeah.
Talk about it. Let's say, hey,
Yeah.
man, 84, you forgot to talk about this, and this.
Because we missed
Sergeant Slaughter.
Sergeant Slaughter.
How in the hell? Brian Drum.
See,
Shout
that-
out to Brian Drum
Yeah,
on
absolutely.
that one.
Because I totally.
I didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
He hit me up on a message. He's like, hey, man, what do you think about Sergeant Slaughter? And I'm like, first of all, fuck yeah.
Yeah, that
Fuck
would've
yeah,
been-
Sergeant Slaughter.
Yeah.
I said, second of all, man, don't email it to me, brother. Put that on the post.
Yeah.
And he did. He's like,
Yeah.
okay, cool, man.
And I saw it and I was like, oh my
Holy
God,
shit.
Sergeant Slaughter.
Could you imagine a Nikita
I
versus
thought
Sergeant?
I thought I would have thought of everything, but there again, coming into that, it kind of happened. But we'll save that for 85.
For later. Yeah,
Yeah.
that comes in a little bit later
Yeah.
on. Well, guys, I guess we'll start wrapping this bad boy up.
Absolutely.
Until next time, this is Jason.
And this is Mike.
Until next time, y'all have a good one.
And not only that, David, I understand we're right at the end of our program.
No. We have got to
This
go.
has been a great event.
There's some people out there that hate us for this.